Hello dear students, this is your Satish Sir. Finally, after lot of students' request, it could be possible today that we are now releasing specific classes for CMA Final SCM in English. Yes, you have heard it right. This could not be possible without our students who had been continuously behind us seeking exclusive guidance for CMA, and I know we have been working hard with our CMA community to give them exclusive classes, exclusive guidance as per CMA course. Friends, as a first step towards this journey, we have released now 5 classes for CMA Final SCM in English version. I've tried my best to maintain the essence and accuracy of the teachings in English as well. However, I shall be always there behind the screen for you to assist you, to guide you, to support you, to ensure that you really get the value out of time you will invest watching these videos. For this purpose, in this video description, I've added one WhatsApp group where you should join while watching these English classes and for any kind of queries that you are facing while studying through these classes. The more the response comes, the more the active participation comes in our WhatsApp groups, the more would be the motivation for us to work ahead for further English version of our all other subjects and this full subject as well. I would be happy to assist you in your CMA journey. I and my team are eagerly waiting for you to start learning from us. Thank you so much.
We are starting the CMA Final SCM classes now. However, don't misunderstand that my classes are limited till SCM subject only in the CMA Final exam. If you have reached out to us or to our class, then our shared objective is only one to obtain the CMA degree. We will be working specifically for you for SCM, but not just that. Our goal and also our main objective is to help you in getting a CMA degree. This is not just about helping you in passing the SCM. You don't worry about SCM, it will be done anyways. But you have to consider that you are connected with us from today and think as if your worries has been handed over and trusted to an institution. We will think for you. We will help you out proactively. So if you will be connected with us, then you will feel that we are more concerned about you than you guys. And we don't just worry about the SCM. Our classes are designed in such a manner that students not only pass SCM exam, but they should also do well in other subjects. Okay, so you need not worry and you should be rest assured that whatever you students are studying, now it is completely from the CMA Final perspective. The strategies which I will incorporate into your SCM subject of CMA Final. You must note that those strategies will be applicable to every subject. Okay, you have to follow the same pattern to move forward in every subject. You don't need to think that you will study in this way for this subject. What about others? Just study the same way for every subject. All the points discussed here are discussed keeping this one thing in mind, that our students should and must obtain a CMA degree. Okay, first of all, I will tell you that before this batch was not started, I gathered some points after talking to a lot of students. I noticed that many students are still concerned about one question. They are in dilemma that CMA degree has a value, right? Even after coming so far, this question is on everyone's mind. Even though they are preparing, what happens is they don't find much people around. So they get stressed when they get to know A is pursuing something. But what about me? I am pursuing CMA. So they feel they are the only one doing CMA. And moreover, there is so much controversy we get to hear from everywhere. If you guys are following Twitter, then if you have joined the Telegram groups. So all the controversy that I am hearing about. Due to these things, the students feel like if they will pass the CMA exam or will get some recognition. So first of all, I want to clear your myth. Don't worry. You should completely forget about this from today. CMA, in today's date, a person having CMA is indeed doing much better than CA. Yes, this is also true that CMA is not popular like CA. Like we analyzed the growth graph of CA. We analyzed the past 6 years. So we found that the growth graph of number of CA students are increasing rapidly. It was stagnant for several years. Numbers are going down right now like this. And the growth graph of the CMA Institute's numbers It was stagnant for many years, but now it is going like this a lot. Growth graph of number of students. Second, in the industry, students who are entering are also, you understand that big and large companies, earlier 10 years ago, there was a myth that only PSUs took the CMA. Government enterprises used to take CMA. This was a myth back then. Okay. But now, as on today's date, now many more private companies, even IT companies like Accenture, you might have heard that our previous students were the ones who got package of 17 lakhs from Accenture. Infosys, ITC also takes a lot of students of CMA. I mean, it picks them a lot. There are many companies like Hindustan Unilever where our students have been placed. That era is gone when they only used to take CA or MBA. There was even a time when only an MBA was considered. Then CA used to say that we have no value, this is useless. They used to prefer MBA, but now the era has changed. Those people take CA now. And now another new change we are seeing is that they are also taking CMA. You should never think that CMA has no value. Just erase this thought from your mind and work hard. It has so much more value now that we have also conducted in-depth analysis. Therefore, students in future, the syllabus of CA and the syllabus of CMA, if we had competition between them, an intelligent person who can dive deep into the syllabus and understand it. I am telling you a very useful thing. A sensible person thinks that CMA can provide more knowledge than CA. It's the truth. If we keep the future syllabus of CA and future syllabus of CMA in front of us, then the CMA student, understand like this, the boundaries of the syllabus that he or she has studied, that is bigger, more extensive, meaning the boundary is wider. The CA is focusing on some things, but the CMA is focusing on a wide range of things. So now value wise, you never have to think less of yourself than any CA ever. Never underestimate. You are pursuing a very premium degree. Understand it. Okay, now pay attention, students. Just know this, like it is said. Who can tell the exact value of diamond? Do you know who can do this? As you must have heard. Who knows the value of diamond? Who can tell if it's a rock or a diamond? A jeweler. But if you take that same diamond to a monkey, it will pick it up and throw it away like a rock. He doesn't know the value. Who knows the value? Only a jeweler knows the value of diamond. Right? So only a jeweler knows the value. In the same way, only those people know your value who hang out and also stay around, people like you. Right, students? So the people who can recruit you and can also get their work done from you. Who is also watching how you perform. So if you go to wrong place and then ask to them about your value, then you will get no value from them. Forget about yourself. I'll tell you a simple thing. Who am I? Who am I if you ignore my name? What is my profession? What is my work? Tell me. Yes, I am a tuition teacher. But what is the value of tuition teacher in today's time? What is the value of tutor? When I go to any business meetings, and if big stalwarts are also present there, then at that place, I can't take out and give my card. What is written on that card? Tuition teacher. But what value does it have? So what is our value in their eyes? Nothing. That we are just a teacher who teach their children. But now, who actually knows our true and real value? You all the people who study from us. Those who don't study. Those who just know that yes, I teach, that I am a tutor. If you ask those people, then what will they say? That he is just someone who teaches students, not a big deal. Which industry does he run? Or helps a company to make turnover of thousands of crores? And that is all true. But who knows our value, our true and real value, our family, or the students who connect with us? Only people like you know our value. You see, not everyone knows, right? If you ask wrong people, then you won't get right value. Right? So from now onwards, don't let this thought ever come in your mind that you don't have any value. Your value is greater than international knowledge. I mean, I have also completed CMA UK degree. Just like you are doing CMA India, I have done CMA UK. So I have also studied it. You have to study more in India. Actually, superficial knowledge is more in CMA UK. Yes, the type of questions are in fact more realistic and more case study oriented, but that's different. But if I evaluate knowledge wise, you are ahead than UK. So, meaning that if we ask CMA UK to pass CMA India, they won't be able to do it. Now after becoming CMA India, then in future, if you want to do CMA UK, you only need 6 months then. You can do it. It is possible. CMA USA. If you talk about the USA, then our institute also has a tie-up with CMA USA for teaching. There is only 2 exams in it. Pass 2 exams to become CMA USA. Just 2. And you will clear those exams in 6 months. Yes, seriously. So, it is a truly valuable course that you are studying right now. Therefore, just forget this myth starting today. You say that there are no CMA around us. So, you can see that there is no tuition teacher around me also. Then why are you looking around again? You say there is no CMA in your house. I also don't have a tutor at my home. So, why are you thinking that way? You are doing something unique. Nobody else is doing that. Sir, where should I get guidance? Now, you have come to the right place. You should seek guidance here. So, you have come to the right place, rest assured. So, just like this, you should tell your friends that don't undermine or underestimate yourselves ever. In future, nobody is going to ask you. Yes, some institutes are trying to get settled due to the online exams. But this is such a large volume and it's not easy to get settled. We have very high expectations that everything should be seamless like Google. Everything should be seamless like Amazon. Because we haven't seen problems in online world. As institute are having this transition first time. So they are facing problems, which is agreed because communication is not clear. But you should pass. Simple, your goal is to pass. There are some hurdles coming from outside and from inside, but you have to pass anyway. After you pass, nobody will ask you, listen, did you become CMA when the institute was facing problems? Will they ask you 5 years later? That are you CMA from online past exams? Nobody will ask. Everybody will say, are you CMA? Yes, we are CMA. He will ask you, if you are CMA, then calculate the costing. How to strategize this? These questions will be asked. So, you people are just strongly being influenced by the current environment and you are abandoning your duty and also your main work, which you should not. This is extremely wrong. Ignore the outside noises and just listen to the voice within you and focus on it, okay? Yes, so first of all, this question. I would like you to write this down because it will confuse again. Does CMA degree has value? You will ask again, so write all this on the first page. Clear the myth. So right here, it has a lot of value. And also write this. Only a jeweler knows the value of diamond. So only the jewelry maker knows the value. If you go and ask the right person, then he will know. But understand that if you ask anyone, any employer, that sir, tell me what is the value of CMA. Okay, they will just say that, what is this CMA? You know, even me, when I talk to any senior employers, I tell them that I teach CA and CMA, right? So they ask me, do people even opt CMA? We understand that he is not a jeweler. We are asking wrong person. If you ask a doctor the value of CMA, he will say no one does CMA. Doctor says this for CMA. Does anyone do CMA? He says some become engineers, some do medicine. They don't know anything about CMA. So if we go to right place for our evaluation, we will get right value. Okay, so after today, stop asking your value from anyone because only some will know that. If someone doesn't know your value, consider that you're knocking on the wrong door. Question done. Now the second question is, what are the subjects that we have in our CMA final exam? Let's test you. It's a very simple question. Just write the name of the subjects. What are the subjects in the CMA final exam? Sir, what is this question? A question is a question, doesn't matter what it is. Just give the answer. Write the name line by line. Anyone can write randomly. So what are the names of the CMA final subjects? Yes, will you also type in the chat? Will you also type in the chat? Line by line. Have you written it? which is the first subject. The first subject is not necessarily the subject that you're studying in your tuition. So the first is law. The second one is SFM. Okay. The third one is DT and international taxation. Then it is SCN. And on this side, we have cost audit. Then CFR. Then IDT. And lastly, they have introduced electives, in which 3 options are given A, B, and C. And one there is given SPM BV. The second one is risk management. And third one is entrepreneurship and startups. And next comes is what you are eager to know, that when you will study. So in what manner one should study so that one can get CMA degree in one go. So there are various strategies, out of which I would like to explain you one on the first day, that how to pass it in one attempt. There are some ground rules you need to follow from starting. This is where most students struggle, whether they are doing CMA with their job or maybe they are doing CMA for the first time. Okay, so now I want to answer the third question, that how to pass CMA final in one attempt. How can I clear it in the first instance? So this has 2 strategies. Okay, in this I am going to explain you 2 strategies. I will discuss the details with you separately, but for now please familiarize yourself with overview. So one is TSMS and the second is TTRS. TSMS and TTRS. So one is TSMS and other is TTRS. So what is TSMS? TSMS stands for Time Subject Management System. Time Subject Management System. What does this say? He says that, so when you come to the CMA finals, so in this way, when you study for the first time, even if you are taking tuitions, then take tuitions, but do it in such a way that so that your entire course will be completely prepared. If this is your exam term, so then if you are giving one group, right? If you are giving one group, imagine you are giving one group, anyone. So it should end 3 months before. And if you are giving both the groups, so it should be finished before 6 months. 80% of the students fail here because they fail in achieving this goal. Do you know that the exam is in December and classes are continuing till November? He is now saying, no, he's gotten old now, and saying I am already late and I will not skip the term no matter what the circumstances are. Still the tuition is not over. In December I have to appear for exam. Both my mother and father have asked me to do so. Now I have grown old and I cannot delay it any longer. I will definitely appear for the exam and will definitely fail. I will definitely give the exam and then I will tell myself that yes, I will definitely fail. Why? Because they are not following the ground rules. This is what I have mentioned you. I have already told this to students many times. So when result comes out, then from many students, we keep on interviewing and asking them about their strategies and the process they followed to crack the exam in one go. One thing I have found common in all, with few exceptions, some students are exceptional case. Some students pass through luck. We don't count them, we only count those who pass through hard work. So these ground rules apply for them. And this is first and the biggest challenge. Instead of making solid plan, you keep saying I passed my 12th exam this way and will pass this one too. But deep inside I know you will fail. Why? Because you are not thinking it this way, that how much do you have to study and when will it end? I received a message earlier. Okay, sir, in December should I give only one group or both the groups? Just understand this much. So I didn't reply. Again after 2 days same reply came back with question mark. That I didn't reply. So do you know what reply I have given? Okay, tell me, what should I eat, rice or roti at night? So he sent a smiling emoji and I have also sent the same. So understand question of students. He is just thinking that December is coming. So should I give one group? So How do you think after the course is over, then only you will be ready, right? You are not even reaching that point. That point is not even coming. You tell me when this course will be over. Your course has not ended and you're asking which group to give in December. So first clear the basics, then come to the subject and understand overall picture. You all are sitting in front of me, so write this down immediately. Then just go home and make a plan today. That how will I be able to complete the course before 3 months or 6 months? Prior to the term in which I am supposed to give the exam, you need to make a plan. Sir, I never thought that much. I thought that if both groups will be completed in 3 months, so I will clear both. So look here. In that case, if there is a very intelligent child who has had a very sharp brain since childhood, and someone who can study for 15 to 16 hours can clear exam within 3 months. Have you understood? So what you should consider yourself a little bit average or a bit conservative, right? If you consider yourself conservative, then it will take 6 months. As in 6 months, some days you'll have fever and other days household work. Okay, and some days you won't feel like studying. So you have to take 6 months. And now the second plan comes in, the 3-tier revision system. So this is called as 3-tier revision system. You will be explained this once you start attending classes. So I will explain you all everything, which says that you have to revise. So let's say the study is complete. Okay, so the study is now completed. And from here, you have got the gap of 3 months or 6 months, right? So now in this 3 to 6 months of gap, you have to revise your course at least 3 times. T1, T2, T3. It's tier 1, 2 and 3. You need to revise it 3 times. So each and every revision has its own method and goal. Otherwise, even if you study from the best teacher in the world, then also you will not be able to pass the exam. The students think that by taking class, they will easily become CMA. Right? So today you must be thinking that we have taken classes of CMA, so we'll score good marks in it. Right? Now I have taken the class, what else can I do? What more can I do? But children, class is the first step. First thing is to start, while second is to finish the class. So please save time. Save so much time that after finishing, you must have time to revise the course 3 times. Each of these 3 revisions has its own goal. In first revision, the objective is to create aerial view notes by gaining a deep understanding of each chapter. So make aerial view notes. And now second. Now the goal of the second revision is that you have to solve at least 4 past papers and you need to give minimum of 4 mock tests, whichever paper has come from the institute side. Okay. And the goal of third revision is to put yourself in the battlefield and think as if it is the day before the exam. And if you are giving only one group, then you will have a day and a half. And if you are giving both the groups together, then you have half day. So you have to revise in half day. So you have to do a trial run of it. Trial run of day before the exam. Either we will give exam in 1.5 day. So if you study in half day and give exam, then you won't be able to study. The strategy of how to study will not be made as you came home and slept. You have not done the revision, so next day you will not be able to write anything. So you have to mentally prepare yourself that these are the steps which I thoroughly need to follow. Okay. And I am telling you again that I have not said anything here which is only applicable to CMA. If you are studying SCM from us, what value it hold if you don't become CMA? Passed in SCM but failed in CMA. Hence neither will you be worthy of showing your face nor will I, because our student who read from us is unable to pass. He passed in SCM but failed in other things, then what's the point? So whatever I am telling you, I am telling because when you will get your degree, then I will have a value. Even if you get low marks in SCM but you have degree, then I will have a value. My value doesn't come if you get 100 out of 100 in SCM and still fail. So here you have to understand this, that if it's CMA final, then it has 8 wheels. Okay, it has 8 wheels. This is 8-wheeled vehicle, so all wheels will move in same direction. If one wheel doesn't move properly, then vehicle will not move forward. Okay, so in the same way, this system applies to all the 8 subjects as well. So today your first task is, since you all are studying in front of me, so you all have an extra advantage. So if you will come and study in front of me, then I will be behind you and I will not leave you. And those who are studying online are still left as I am not able to focus on them. So the first task for you for today is, as soon as you will go home, you will make your monthly study plan and you will show it to me tomorrow. Okay, make a study plan. That in what manner you will want to achieve your goal. And for that, how many hours of classes you are required to take on daily basis. So this requires the back calculation, that how to determine the number of hours which you need to study on the daily basis. Okay. You have to do back calculation using your mind. If you need any help in this, so ask me. But the main thing is that you need to figure out how many hours per day you will be studying. So what will be the study hours per day? It will take about 2 hours and 4 hours. So fix your term here and now subtract the 3 months from your term. Okay. And if you have to give to groups, then deduct 6 months. And then from today, see how much time you have left, and within that time, you should figure out which subject you should focus on from now. And you will find this online on every website about how many hours you need to spend. If you add that to it and divide it by the number of days, you'll get the hours per day. I'm sure you have understood. It's simple. And you need to make an estimate. Okay, so please make a note of this today and make sure to complete this task and show it to me in tomorrow's class. Okay. Further, there is also a division in it planning to happens. We'll have you go through all that later. But you should prepare the framework in advance. That I need to prepare each subject on the same structure. I need to complete my classes at this speed so that I can properly finish my entire subjects before the given deadline. Okay. Write down, have you written everything? Yes, so it is all done, right? All right, fine. Okay. So I think these 3 were the main points, right? Okay. All right. There will be many more discussions. We will keep doing that on time. There is nothing big about it. So today we will set the stage with a brief introduction to the SCM subject, and then we'll dive into a deep discussion. SCM, Strategic Cost Management. So now please move to a new page. Strategic Cost Management. Wait. Let me tell you one more thing. Please hold while you are making copies. You have just made a new copy and started working. Okay. So you should leave at least 10 pages in your copy for the index. How many? Skip the next 10 pages. Leave what you have written. Leave 10 pages for the index. Sir, there is no such index. We will create a detailed index for you. This is such an index which you have never created before. But don't plan it based on today. What I am telling you is to create it in a way that you don't have to work hard on the day before the exam. Okay? Think about the end result and then do it. Understood? So that's why leave 10 pages for index. Leave 10 pages for the index. This will be used later. Our index will not be created in 1-2 pages. That method was used earlier. You will make it in the way as I will tell you. Okay. And in the copy, every page should have page numbering. For doing work like page numbering, you don't sit down. Okay? If anyone is there at home, whosoever is there, maybe mom, dad, or the brother, just get this done from anyone by asking lovingly or by making them emotional and get this numbering done. Okay? If possible, get it done by someone, and if just sitting around and watching TV, as there was no work at all. So do the numbering by yourself. Right now, do page numbering till where you have completed, so do page numbering till there. Do page numbering in copy. You can do it alternate like 1-3, do from starting from where you have left 10 pages. Just do the page numbering from beginning in the copy. Sir, what is all this? Let's come to the point. We are coming on it, so this is the real point. What are you saying? Is this the real thing? Working while structuring, right? Normally, what does children do? Nothing but engage themselves in the pursuit of mere knowledge. They acquire so much knowledge that they lose the ability to revisit it. So now we have to create a system like that so that we can easily and quickly revisit our knowledge whenever it is necessary to do it. Okay. The copy is basically a knowledge book. The book of knowledge will be so filled with wisdom that you will not feel like looking at it. Therefore, to enable us to see every useful thing, we need to create a proper system, which means that a proper detailed index system. Right now, I am telling you about the strategic cost management. Earlier, there was general misconception, which I have cleared. Okay, now I am explaining this subject to you because you are studying this subject for first time. So you know the word cost as you would have studied it in class 12th. So by adding the word strategic, what difference does it make? So if I will explain Genesis, that you heard this cost word first time in cost accounting. In group 1 under heading cost accounting, do you remember? Cost accounting. In group 1 in 12th. So what does cost accounting means? So cost accounting, it is the process of summarizing, classifying and analyzing and interpreting the cost information. You do all that so as to arrive at some meaningful conclusion. So this is a scientific way of doing costing. Costing means estimating the cost of a product or service. Cost refers to the amount of resources consumed in product or service. Cost accounting means a scientific system of doing costing so that you can refer to it And later on, you can compare it with others within your group and outside the group if the information is available. So this is the beauty of cost accounting, which you have studied in group 1. Remember, there was a proper system, the process account and contract account. Somehow it was not just adding up the cost. We used to do with system. Sometimes we fill the journal and sometimes prepare ledger. In cost sheet, some items had to be written where system for writing was created. So that system is called as cost accounting. That was in group 1. Second, you have read about cost management. You have studied it in group 2. Group 2 was about cost management. What is the difference between group 1 cost accounting and group 2? What was the difference? When we began studying cost management, then they started discussing that how the cost accounting had already been done. From that, the end result that is coming. Okay, so what? Meaningful interpretation can we draw from that end result so that we can make the future better. The focus shifted to the cost control. Now the focus is shifted on decision making. In cost management, you learned about marginal costing, standard costing, and budgetary control. What did you learn in the standard costing and budgetary control? It teaches us that how can we control our cost, what cost control should have happened, and what cost control have actually happened. Cost accounting simply means add the cost. It can either be estimated cost or actual cost. But cost management says estimated is different from actual. The difference between the two is significant. So why did this difference occur? How can it be controlled? Right? And then a new method of cost accounting was learned, that is marginal costing. If you do cost accounting according to this method, it teaches you that if something affects cost accounting, then how does interdivisional transfer pricing work? Do you remember we discussed it in second part? Now the third part has been introduced. We are starting a new level today. What is the name of this level? Now try to connect with the name. Strategic cost management. Did you understand what will we study? I mean cost accounting. They will assume that it flows in your blood. You know it. There is nothing to talk about that. You also know about cost management. We will assume that as well. Yes, of course, if we will have some reflection of it here, so we can revise it once, but it will be assumed that you are aware about all these. We added a new thing to its name. Strategic. They added the word strategic to cost management. Do you know what does strategic mean? That we can draw some kind of, such a kind of conclusion which will benefit us. It will benefit us in the longer run. Not in short term. Whenever the word strategic is used, it means long-term consequences are being discussed. It's not about right now. So when you are thinking about long term, it's important to understand that it doesn't mean you are not thinking about the short term. Long term includes short term. You will go to the future from today. You cannot sacrifice your present or near future for a distant future. If you are thinking about the next 2 years, then the coming month is included in that. So this is basically a term. What is it? A term that we are using for long term perspective. That today, whatever decision we will make for cost management. Okay, if we told you that, see my friend, it's going to be like this. Have you learned about material price variance? Yes, no, don't just move your head, use your mouth, say something. It is adverse variance of it. Okay, we are just talking, adverse variance are here. Is it good or bad? Material price variance is adverse. Think about it. Is it good or bad? Adverse. See, adverse means loss. Means it is bad. Whom should we call? We will call the purchase manager. See what happened. It created an adverse variance which caused loss for company. Okay. Before they say something, fire him, tell him to get out, ask him that did he come to company to cause damage. Go away. Who will pay this money? After paying extra money, you are here. Is this your own company? We can say anything rubbish to him as it's our company. Now he left. What will be the outcome of this? Other employee will be scared. New employee will be frightened to come. So the decision that you will make today, what will be its impact on the future? What will be its impact? Such thoughts will come in mind in this subject. Strategic cost management. What you are thinking today is fine, but whatever decision you are making in near future, ultimately what impact will it have on the future? Do you want to think about that far? This is strategic cost management. Another point that it says is, in every decision, we should consider non-financial aspects along with financial aspect. Look, everything has both financial and non-financial aspect. At least let the other person speak. Let him speak. What will he say? Tell me he could only say that, Sir, I brought some very good quality material, right? So what would you say? Why did you bring good quality? We told you to bring low quality, right? What will that man think? What kind of person is he? How can our boss think about bringing low quality products? If we use poor quality material, we will make goods of poor quality. If you sell low quality goods in market, what goodwill will your company have? How will you survive in competition? So think, what impact will your decision have on your company's goodwill? On competitors? Will you get any advantage from it or not? The way with which we are thinking about all these things brings us to strategic cost management. This is traditional cost management which we are taught. It's traditional way. People have thought about this way for a long time. Okay? And this is strategic. What does strategic mean? This is a new way of thinking. You can say it's modern thinking. There is difference between modern and traditional thinking. The difference I am trying to explain is that every decision has long-term consequences. Now imagine, have you all read the chapter on joint products and byproducts? You can just move your mouth a little and say yes. There was a sum, remember? We had to decide whether to process it or not. Do you remember? Can't you remember? They used to calculate whether further processing of the joint product was necessary or not. Now think like this, if there is incremental profit, then do it, otherwise don't. It was simple, this is traditional thinking. If it's profitable, do it. If there is loss, then don't. What does strategic thinking tells us? According to the strategic thinking, if we were doing production, if we were selling, then some customers would come. Some customers were coming, right? Let's assume that even if it wouldn't have been that beneficial, you would have stopped it. But strategic thinking says that even if there is a loss, it's okay. At least the customers were coming, right? If you will stop further processing of that product, then its buyer, its customer will go somewhere else. It is necessary, even if you have less of it. You would be facing loss, but what would happen if the customer went away? Market of the competitor will increase. Okay, to continue the process, the employee who was working will be unemployed. Where will this employee go? If he join a competitor, then he will destroy you. This kind of thinking was not there in old costing. Did we spoke like this to you in Inter? Then we said don't put much thought into it, just do the calculation. Now you are saying use your mind. What could be the outcome of this? Unfortunately, so far, this subject is like that. The institute don't ask that much deep questions in the exam. So here, we don't know whether to say it was unfortunate or it was fortunate. Such question never came. This is a question, we see these kind of questions. It mostly comes up in the CMA UK degree, right? In your case, this is still a straightforward question, but we know that your syllabus requires you to have this much knowledge. You should know the consequences. Either we can ask about it in the exam or not. We don't know that. However, in terms of knowledge, for knowledge, you need to learn this chapter from this perspective. That what can be the long-term consequences of this decision. Okay, let's listen to another example. This is a very interesting one. Okay, listen, Vodafone is a company that is considering that how they can cut their cost. Okay, so they analyzed that they got carried away and made unnecessary investments. And they have opened their outlets. They have Vodafone outlet everywhere. They opened so much that there is not much footfall everywhere. You can also think of this in the case of a bank. They have opened branches in different locations. There were no footfalls, no customers were there. Okay, so a company randomly decided that let's do one thing, we have to cut the cost. So 20% of whatever we have today, let's just shut that 20%. Imagine if we have 1,000 branches, 1,000 outlets, and then we close 200 outlets. Okay, then you can do a calculation. Do a calculation to determine how much cost will be saved here. See, there will be this much savings. By closing the outlet, you said okay. But strategic cost management says that you shouldn't just think from here, but think logically. He says think from your heart, think a little more, what could be possible. Consequences, and there are many more things which cannot be measured by money. Then you will ask, what will happen? Look, if you close an outlet in a particular locality, then people of that locality, if they are your customer, who buy your product. If someone comes to you for service or to make an inquiry, where will they go? He said that it wouldn't bring in as much money as we spend. We said, okay, let's leave that aspect, but where will that guy go? If he is your loyal customer, then he have to go far. If he goes that far, he will be harassed and he will be dissatisfied. It will damage your goodwill. Now, if the people from other localities near around that branch, if they need to go to the same branch, then they will also go there. So there the load will be increased and the employees will be sat there. He will think, when I joined, there wasn't much work. Now it has become very stressful. Let's leave this company. Humans are always trying to avoid work. They are not sitting here for work. They just want their salary. He will be dissatisfied. Who will do so much of work? Okay. And as soon as you will move from here, what will be the first move of the competitors? You will see that Airtel has opened a branch there. So it will immediately divert your customer towards them. And those customers that you can see today, which are not providing much benefit to you, but in the long term, they can benefit you, but you are not willing to go towards them, right? So students, this is strategic cost management. So what do you understand by strategic cost management? I gave you some examples, example of Vodafone's customer center. I also gave example of whether to further process or not. The third material price variance was adverse. I gave an example for that. So a new kind of thinking might come to your mind. Yes, we never thought of it this way. Understood? Now the point is that this way of thinking, this approach, in this, different organizations have different ways of conclusion can be drawn. See, some organizations are very arrogant. Their top management says, if it will go, let them go. We are not that hungry. So they will make such decision. You can't tell them that this is what has to be done. There was a very interesting case in Japan. The Japanese railway is considered one of the best in the world. It is very famous. I mean, if you ever go to Japan, if you get any chance in life, okay, then you must explore their trains. For example, when you go to Agra, people say eat petha, eat some peda in Vrindavan and in Kolkata, eat their rasgulla, right? Every place has something different. In Japan, trains are very famous for arriving exactly on time. For instance, 9-1 means precisely on 9-1. It will always depart at the scheduled time. In other words, you can always rely on the train. But it's never ever late. Over there, private transportation is very expensive. Taxis are also very expensive there. Imagine if you travel from here to Aligarh. If you had to travel that long in Japan, it would cost you around 5,000 yen. It's Japanese currency. Okay. And if you go that much by a train, then it will cost 25 to 30 yen. Why did the government implement such expensive measures? Because they want their country to be pollution free. So in Japan, the government was conducting a survey to see how could they optimize the cost of their trains. To optimize the train service that is running there, what do they do to optimize it? Yes, quickly drink water. Your eyes should not close. For optimization, they do research. Which route has a train running unnecessarily? Which is not occupied? Like you have studied in service costing. If you have studied passenger transport, remember you learned about buses, not about trains. It's complex. Those people were studying that in which route. We are putting cost, but customers are not coming. They studied and later on found out that there is only one such route. And in that whole route, from the beginning to the end, only one passenger, a girl, boards the train. And only she comes from it and she goes from it. And no other passengers board that train. If it were traditional cost management, do you know what they would do? Close the route. If it's Bengal government, then route closed. So the Japanese government went to the grassroots and studied it. That why is this happening? So it turned out that there is a girl in that village. She is the one who used this train for studying. She used the train to go to college and come back from the college. And no one comes and goes on that route. If that route is closed, then that girl's education will be stopped. So what decision did the government make? Our motto is public welfare. Our motto is not just about making money. If a girl will get educated by this, then she will earn a lot more in her life. Because of this, how many people in the village will start studying? If they are inspired, then more people in the village will try to study. Like if you will become CMA after studying. If any one person becomes CMA in the family, then you don't even know how many people they inspire in the family and around them. The benefit you will get from your result will be different. Those who are around you, in your circle, your relatives, your neighborhood, your office, all those people who know you, they will also get inspiration from you. So there, the government sat down and calculated that eventually how much the village would get benefit if one girl completed her education. And how much that one girl will earn for so many years, how much other people in village can earn. Against that, our cost is nothing. They made a calculated decision that train will continue to run until the girl's education is completed. So this type of thinking, this is not about cost management. This thinking comes from the strategic cost management. But the interesting thing is that you guys read other subjects also, like law, direct taxes, indirect taxes, etc. The problem in that is what is written. It's the law. What does law mean? This is what has to be done. It will be like this. Strategic cost management is not about following rules. It is a thought process, a way of thinking, which you may understand or may not. Old companies tend to have old-fashioned thinking. In new company, new ideas will appear. Many new companies are run by old people with old ideas, and that is how they operate. So it won't be apparent in those cases. Now, students, when you go out in real world, strategic cost management might not be exactly the same as what you have read in books. And that company is still running because it has become so famous. Because it doesn't matter to them. But what should be the ideal scenario of this here in the syllabus? We learn about that only. What should be the ideal scenario? Some of our students who are in CA Final or in CMA Final, or let's assume that some people are also studying while they are working. Some people are doing articleship training at a very good place in a multinational company while they are also studying. When they study this subject, they say, sir, this is what's happening in my company. What you said is happening. It shouldn't be happening. What shouldn't be happening is happening. What they do, like the company has its chat group for employees. Okay. They take short clips of class and make video of it. Then send this video to their group and say, look, this is what our professor is saying. Our company do this. What should be happening is not happening. Other people also agree to that. They sent me a couple of group chats. I will show you separately when we meet. I can't show this in public. They also sent me the group chat. We sent them this and everyone were also saying this. The point is, I am not telling you what should be done in your company. I am simply explaining the science behind strategic cost management. It's a necessity in today's world. You are now moving forward with outdated concepts. You will have to face the consequences. There is no solution for that. We will have to face the consequences. Got the point? Did you understand the difference between the two concepts I gave you for examples? Do you remember what examples did I give? Can you write it in your own language? See, you have to make this chart. Write strategic cost management. Okay, see. So give the first example. Let's talk about the subject briefly so that you are clear. You have no doubts about what you are going to learn in it. Okay, so here I am giving you a little introduction so that tomorrow you can go and tell someone that, hey, did you do the ragging of any inter students? What are you reading? All this is just addition and subtraction. Come here, we will tell you how to think about the thoughts. Okay, you all can also try to maneuver a little bit. Normally we see that the final year students go to the inter students for ragging. What are you doing? Leave it. Understand this. So he also thinks that you are studying such things in final. In the example number 1, I explained to you that the material price variance will be adverse. MPV will be adverse. So what traditional thinking says, like traditional or modern, what does traditional view says? Loss has occurred. Write it like this, loss occurred. What would modern view say? It might be possible that it will be in good quality. Okay, the broad good quality material. And even better than that, quality of finished goods. From that, customer satisfaction will increase. This will increase goodwill. What a thinking. Wow. What a thinking. We never thought of this, sir. So you might be getting many questions in your mind, such as if the quantity of material used a lot. So right now I can't take your questions. So I am giving you a thought process for a while. Don't try to counter it when the right time comes. We'll go in depth, then everything will be clear. What did I explain in example 2? I'm talking about example 2. Yes, can anyone tell me? Online students, are you paying attention to it? Ajad Dwivedi. Do you remember what the second example was? The example of Vodafone Center. So it was about Vodafone closing down its centers or the outlets. But why? What does traditional thinking says? It's called as cost cutting. But what does it says? It says if you do cost cutting like this, then... So where will the customers proceed further and where will they go? It says think from that angle too. It says that increase the workload in remaining. Okay, increase workload in remaining outlets. Okay, which will result in both the customers and employees dissatisfaction, which will result to both the customer and the employee dissatisfaction. So as a result, it affects both the customer and the employee dissatisfaction. Okay. Did you get the point? Have you got the logic? Then again, what would the competitor's move be if you shut down? Then he would open his own shop. So what? What did I explain in example 3? This is called short-term memory. I explained you something. Do you remember? So should we proceed further or not? Further processing of a product. Which has negative incremental profit. So the negative incremental profit. So I have a habit, so I am habitual of writing in short forms. Okay. For example, incremental is written, profit is written. You will get used to me a little. I speak and write. I don't just sit quietly and write. I don't do that. I speak and then write. In my 15 years of experience, only one incident took place. That in the middle of the class, one student left the class in between. I tried to find out why he left. So I got to know that he was fed up of my short form. That's why he left. He said, it's difficult for me to make the notes. Because you know what happened? He left because he used to write very slowly. He used to write always behind me and then come up to me and ask, what is written here? His friends around him understood, but he didn't. He felt inferior, so he left. You need to catch up a bit. It will take time for us to recognize each other. If you take my classes during inter, then that's different. In the final, you trust me, you heard the name, you trust your friend and you came. But everyone have their own way or manner of speaking. I need to understand you. See, I don't require to understand you. There is no compulsion for it. You need to understand me more. That's required. So we both need to be on the same page in class. Okay. There are always some issues in a new relationship, right? You have to be careful with a new pair of shoes. Shoes or slippers. Let's say new nose ring. This example is only for girls. New nose rings and any new relationship. In the initial days, it hurts. It hurts. New shoes or slippers take some time to get used to fit. Okay. Okay, if new nose ring, if you get your nose pierced, it hurts as it is painful. And the third thing is a new relationship. With anyone, if it is with the teacher or an employer with an employee. Okay. Whether it's about friendship. Okay, on the first day, it cannot happen. If it does happen, so it means it is temporary, not permanent, which will create a problem in the future. The first day might seem very good. Okay, but slowly some problems will come. But we should give some time for the problem to be resolved. This is maturity. So, for those who are meeting me for the first time, especially the students who trust their friend and came here, also those who came here after searching on internet, in the beginning they have to struggle a little bit more as compared to the old students. Some people says that he speaks too fast. We make such judgments, right? He speaks too slowly or he speaks too fast. His methods are difficult. He is giving no notes. He is giving a lot of notes. Everyone has its pros and cons. People point, he haven't reached the main topic yet, he is not even there. You can say anything like that. So all those issues, after 1 or 2 chapters, when everything's finished, then you think it's best. So this much time is needed. You cannot make your mind instantly. Okay, you have to give time. That is very important. It allow any relationship to grow and maintain balance. Your trust will not be broken here. Okay, because every institution runs on trust. Whether you say customer trust or student trust. The organization runs on trust. No organization runs on gimmicks. Further processing of a product that has a negative incremental profit. What does the traditional view says? Do not further process. But why? Because the profit is negative. Do not process further. And what would the modern view say? What would it refers to? It will say that before taking such a decision, the first thing is to think about that, when a customer comes, you must have seen this in the salesmanship. A customer comes to buy such product that might cause us loss, but at least let them come. Let them come in once, then we will sell them another item that will benefit us. You're not considering it through that angle. You're seeing it's a loss, so shut it. But also see if that customer comes in. So if he consider buying other product, focus on customer loyalty in this. Okay. Loyalty implies that if you can cross-sell the customer any product, this is loyalty. Cross-sell means selling any other product, whereas upselling refers selling of expensive product. What is upsell opportunities? What are those in real? Maybe a product that caused loss to you, but it lead to any other product that is brought by the customer further and it brings profit. Customer loyalty, cross-sell or upsell opportunities. Second number. Employees are working on further processes. And employees working on the process being closed, what happened to them? If you fire them, so what happens is the remaining working employees become demoralized. So the employees who are working on the process being closed. Okay, understood? When an employee is fired, so the other employees become demoralized. Employees working on the process being closed. The fourth example I gave you was about the Japanese. Government optimizing the train route. Optimizing train routes. Okay. So what it will say? It will say shut down, or don't say shut down. Let's say shut down non-profitable routes. But what is the approach here? Continue for social welfare. Continue for social welfare. Whose example I explained to you. I have given 4. There is 40 examples like this. Uncountable examples. Unlimited examples. Today I have given 4 examples to you for understanding it in better way. As the syllabus moves forward, more examples will come. These are just few. Okay. So much of notes, right? There is a lot more inside my mind, but I'm controlling myself. Let's move further. There are many such examples of anything. There is a flip side, okay? There's a flip side from today you should think about. If you didn't do it, so what will happen? If you start putting such question in your mind, so then you will get the answer for it. Okay. When you put that question mark and seek for the right questions, then you will get the answer. If you want to get the answer, so firstly get the right question in your mind. Today we learned something new. What if we don't do it? So what will happen? Hope you understand this. We need to think beyond the money. Avoid thinking through the angle of money. These are short-term angle. We have to avoid thinking through it. Think from long-term perspective. What is the conclusion? So the strategic cost management gives you a long-term perspective of taking any step in your organization. Strategic cost management. So it is a management technique. It is a management technique. focuses on long-term consequences, that it also focuses on the long-term consequences. It's a management technique that focuses on the long-term consequences of a decision. Okay. Value creation rather than cost cutting. What does value mean? Value and cost has difference. Value means benefit. If someone is benefiting, then let's use costs, no problem. For whom the value is generated. So the answer for that is all of its stakeholders. For all of its stakeholders. The main stakeholders are customer and employee. However, anyone who is benefiting from this, for example, for a train, who's the stakeholder? The beneficiary, that's the passenger. The two main stakeholders in every organization are customers and employees. Okay, if it's beneficial. So you should definitely continue it. Customers and employees. Okay, so C number. That is sustainable competitive advantage. Sustainable competitive advantage. Okay, so sustainable competitive advantage. How will this come? Through the sustainable competitive advantage. So the sustainable competitive advantage through product differentiation. And cost leadership. Sustainable competitive advantage through product differentiation and cost leadership. And the sustainable competitive advantage through the product differentiation and cost of leadership. So one thing is coming up in this, that what does it mean by sustainable competitive advantage? Competitive advantage, performing better than competitors. Better means, as I always say, the more sugar you put in, the sweeter it gets. There's no definition of better. How much better we have to do? Just better than others. Slightly more than others. Okay. That means do something that others can't. And only do what you can sustain. If you do it today but not tomorrow, it will have no value. Okay. How do you do this? There are two strategies for it. Bring some innovation to product, do something new and do product differentiation. There are three main ways to do the product differentiation. One is to improve the quality, the other is to innovate the product, and third is responsiveness. Whatever the customers ask, answer quickly. Okay, it shouldn't happen that their query didn't resolve. Cost leadership means to reduce as much cost. Play with the volume, reduce the cost so much that you can reduce the price of product. So you will automatically get competitive advantage. Are you giving best quality at low cost? Instead of you, why people go to your competitor? Why do people go to Airtel instead of Vodafone? What do you have, Airtel, Vodafone or Jio? Just tell me three of them. Or Airtel. Is it Vodafone or Airtel? Or none of them? Both are. It's Jio. Consider one thing, why did you go to Jio and not to Airtel? The cost is low. Look at these two, one of them will fit in. I have Airtel and Jio, I have both of them, but I have not gone to Vodafone. My first number was of Vodafone, but later I switched to Airtel. Why I switch? Because you know Airtel maintained a very good service quality. The network is very good, plus it has a lot of service centers as compared to others. So as I said, that quality, there are three ways. Innovation and the responsiveness. Quality. When we talk about phones, their quality means the network should be good and calls shouldn't be dropped. Innovation means something new. In Airtel, you can see that it has DTH service. Airtel has different types of plans. They also have some good plans. Responsiveness means when we go for any service, response is very frequent. But in Vodafone, there is no such thing. And Jio made it even better from that. In what? Jio made it better in terms of quality. Innovation And responsiveness has also been improved. At the same time, it also done cost leadership. It did it for once, after that it couldn't maintain, so market will be gone. Therefore, sustainable competitive advantage. Understood? Sustainable competitive advantage. Product differentiation leads to increased costs. So there are two ways to make up for that expense. Either raise price or increase the volume. Either price increases or volume increases. What happens when you do cost leadership? The cost goes down. When cost is reduced, then you can give benefit to the customer. By reducing prices, you will attract more customers. The competitor's market will be yours. Volume increases. Understood? Or you feel that if customers don't increase, you should still reduce costs so that you have a lot of profit. You don't have to lower price. There is no problem. I'm saying it again, product differentiation will involve some kind of investment, resulting in increase in quality. Then what will happen? Price can be increased. If you keep the price the same, your profit will be higher. Product differentiation gives profit. What is advantage of cost leadership? Costs will decrease. If you keep the price the same, your profit will be higher. And if you benefit the customer by reducing the price, so you will have more market volume. Competitive advantage means being better than your competitors, not fighting with them. So we are not saying that we will fight with the competition. We are saying that whatever they are doing, I should be able to do a little bit more than that. That will be fun. Let's enjoy this competition, just like you guys are sitting together studying. So, students, are you all fighting? Your goal is same. There is no fight between you. Now suppose you got homework and you brought it after doing it. The second one says that that's done. It doesn't bring competition, right? He is saying we have done that. We don't need to do it again. This is one way. Other one is we will have to do a little more. We will have to do homework and little revision also. So it adds fun to the game. It becomes more enjoyable. If India and England's match is going on, are India and England enemies? Competition brings out the best game. It's more fun. Even the one who loses a match shakes their hands with the winner and leaves the ground. It's like that. You need to be better than your competitor. We will win this time. Sometimes they will win, no problem. But strive to be better. This is a game. So continue working on product differentiation and cost leadership. This is the basic summary of strategic cost management. These 3 points explain the whole concept of strategic cost management. Okay. What is not traditional is that the focus is on cost cutting. Traditionally, we think about present. Why to think about future? And traditionally, we don't pay attention to competitors. We just focus on our own thing. Understood. Just like these things apply to us as well. As soon as you become a commercial organization, you have to consider all these things. Listen to me, students. Suppose right now, everything is online because of pandemic. So during pandemic, when everything shifted online, a lot of institutes were unable to sustain. They shut down due to infrastructure costs. 11th, 12th grades had many issues. Now students got confused on how to attend the classes. Should they attend it live, online, through a recording, or in person? I'm giving you an example. Okay, students. We have done all the calculations which were possible. And students, we calculated the cost of my live infrastructure. What will my life's revenue be in face-to-face sessions? Okay, the result is visible around you. In face-to-face, what will be revenue and expense? We calculated if we went with traditional system, we will have to shut down. Why do we need huge infrastructure? We know that we can accommodate so many students here. We know that we are in Kolkata. I understand the mindset. How do people think here? Okay, it's simply not feasible to stick with traditional method. But students, our way of thinking is strategic, right? So how did we thought? It's not like there will be nothing. There will be at least something. Some people will learn face to face. Some say they will not study live or even online. Not even recorded. So if those students don't come here, they will go somewhere else. If they go somewhere, what will happen to children who come because of their reference? My chain will break. It's like the story of village. Because of one girl, a lot of people might have studied and also earned money. Do you remember? It's just like that. In same way, we thought that a child is the reason for 10 other students. So one child can bring a lot of students. But what if you go somewhere else? So you will take those 10 children with you, which is my source of income. Not for today, but for long term. We are not saying that you will get 10 students immediately. You have your whole life ahead of you, and eventually you will get those 10 students. It cannot be stopped. No matter how much life you are left with, you will get 10 students. So this can be huge loss. Thus, when you are thinking about that calculation, it seems like it will be wrong decision. Think for long term, think about future. And what if tomorrow the child is still confused with his decision? Who knows if their confusion will go away? Who knows what else we can do? You can do many workshops, you can do many seminars if there is space available. This is strategic thinking. And what is short-term thinking? It's pandemic, so shut down. Even a lot of senior teachers told us to shut it down because of pandemic. They said that we are totally wasting the time by continuing. We should have small place to do live classes. But how is it possible? How can it be like this? This is traditional thinking. Strategic thinking is different, my friend. So this is how we are able to create value for our stakeholders and present it to them. Okay, for our employees, we have to continue doing this. So this thought process is coming from strategic cost management. Okay, students, from today onwards, make this thought process your central theme. This concept won't come in exam, but it should be a central theme in your mind whenever you study this subject. You have to think in this way. Okay, so now students, when we enter the subject over here, then we will learn many techniques, which are very helpful. Okay, this will result in product differentiation and lead to cost leadership. So this is the main point, how these two can come together. Is that okay, students? What is happening in world in new era? Like, for example, your syllabus includes modern cost management. Okay, cost management of modern world. Modern world means in the world today, the globalization has grown so much that even a single company can operate worldwide just by sitting at one place. Like, for example, students, think what company around you has a worldwide reputation and is famous, and you also use its products. HP. Students, just think of a couple of names in your mind. You are already using their products and they are famous. Apple, HP, Google, what else? Sony, Samsung, Ford, Toyota. Right? Are these people working only in one single country? They are working worldwide, all over the world. They are not operating in just a single country, like Airtel. Airtel is the leader in Africa. It has the monopoly over there. Like this. There will be many companies whose products are sold worldwide. Right. So those companies, if they had thought traditionally, it would have been over. It would never have been successful. So what is their way of thinking? What are some techniques? Like, some techniques are not applicable everywhere. Some techniques are applicable in some places by which they reach there. What are those? Basically, I will tell you one more thing, which I always tell in starting. It never happens that two people just sit down together. Both of them are very highly educated, so they decide to sit down in the evening. Together they sit for a cup of tea and then make a technique. Come, let's sit together and think of a technique which we will spread all over. All companies will follow and children will learn it. Does it happen like that? No. So how does it happen? How does the technique come? How did technique come into the world? How does this happen? Students, always remember this saying. This saying which is very useful. Necessity is the mother of all inventions. Remember this. Have you heard it? So students, have you heard another saying which is similar to this, that is, your need will be the real creator? Now what does these two really mean? Let's understand it. Sometimes we are stuck in trouble. So students, we solve that by ourselves. So whatever methods we adopted, some people were there in this world who captured the methods that they followed to solve the problem and printed them in either a book and printed them in an article. And those texts were delivered everywhere around the world. So suppose I faced a problem. For example, I started a coaching institute called SJC. I did that without any support. I mean, neither there was a CMA around me, nor there was a tuition teacher with me whom I can rely on. So how I solved a problem step by step and created this coaching here. I have solved this problem and now I am living my life. This is one way. I haven't told anyone my method. Now if someday you want the same, but I haven't told you my method. And one way could be that I get free with work with solving problems. So I thought about writing a book or about writing an article about the problems that we faced while doing this and let other people read it. So students, just like this, the owners of Toyota. So the owners of Toyota had a right hand with them and his name was Ono Taichi. Ono Taichi. It is Ono Taichi. Remember the name, students. It is very important. He was the right hand of owner of Toyota. Okay. Got it? Right. You can read about it on Google if you are interested in all of these. So you will find his articles and you will find his books. Toyota is actually a surname. Toyota is surname of person who founded Toyota company. Okay. So what was the name of right hand of the owner of Toyota? He was Ono Taichi. So students, whatever techniques they used while dealing with problems in Toyota company, one day he decided to write it all down. Problem was solved. It was a success. I have everything. If we are successful and retire now, what should we do, students? So we took everything we learned and wrote it down, creating a book. We then tried to reach people everywhere by giving seminars in different places. And then by believing on our words which are written in the book. Someone else applied and got a result too. Someone applied and got result when they saw that results are coming. So many big academicians were involved in making it accessible to everyone by writing it in simple language which everyone can understand easily. Then a system was created which was named as the Toyota Way. And then it got its name, the just-in-time system. You must have heard just-in-time. That is Toyota Way. The just-in-time system became a manufacturing system, which is made like a template for people so that anyone who wants to apply it can use it. It is written in a simple language and a lot of universities started to incorporate this system into their syllabus in different ways. Universities like Harvard did this, the Oxford did this, the Stanford did this. So if the whole world follows these universities, then other people started adding this. CMA added this, CA Institute added this. In India, the CMA India also adopted this just-in-time system. And that is how results started coming. So when the results started coming, it was felt that this should be taught to people. It's not just about sitting and thinking about creating new technique. It's about actually doing it with experiences. There is another technique, another interesting example you should hear. Do you know Japan? In the past, a lot of things came from Japan. Why? What was reason? During Second World War. You must have heard about it. When Second World War happened. So during that, Japan suffered the most loss compared to the world. America dropped bomb on it. Japan was Ukraine. You are also hearing about the situation, right? Actually, the situation in Japan was worse than that. Okay. When the Japanese were building up, there were so many problems over there. There was so much pressure on them. Just like Chinese products, which are often seen as cheap and low quality, the Japanese products also had the same impression on people. Japanese products are bad, don't buy them. Their bad reputation was infamous worldwide. But the government, manufacturers and entrepreneurs in Japan decided to change this image. They dedicated their lives in building goodwill. Now in today's date, Japanese products are among the top in the world. They are most trusted. You can buy them with your eyes closed. So students at that time, the owners of Sony company, who made Sony? The actual owners and founders took a pledge that we will create electronics that will make people's lives easier and better and which can help humankind. This was their vision for company. It wasn't clear what would they make. They did not think that they will make TV. They will use some electronic technology to create products that will make people's lives easier and better. And that product will be of the best quality which world will admire. So they started working. Do you know the first product that was made by Sony? Pressure cooker. They thought this might solve people's problems, but that was just the beginning. So later on they realized that youngsters were bored while going to work and were traveling very far away also. And they have great passion for music. For listening to music. A very big device like a tape recorder is played. It looks like a disc, which you can't carry around, but youngsters love music. So, could there be a portable device that they can carry around and listen to music? Is that possible or not? Product differentiation. Innovation is about doing something new. On top of that, you had to price in such a way so that everyone could afford it. Earlier, having a large tape recorder at home was considered a luxury. If someone had a tape recorder, they were from good family. It was a status symbol. Having a tape recorder was a luxury and not everyone could have it. It was tough to afford it. Okay, but they decided that it should be a device that goes into the pockets of the common people. And the joy of their life comes back. For which they yearn, like what used to happen in our homes. In my childhood days, everyone did not have TV in their homes. So we used to visit someone else's home to watch TV. Do you remember? There used to be one TV in the whole building, one phone in the whole building in someone's house. So everyone would get their calls and go there to watch TV. Now everyone has TV at home. So back then, not everyone had a device to listen to music. Right. So at that time, the founders of Sony had taken an oath and decided that they will make a product which is cheap, portable, and plays music to change people's lives. Now, how will it be made? So students, normally, if we follow the traditional cost, how is the price determined? Add everything plus profit is equal to price. That's old way of calculating costs. Here it is reversed. They said, let's first find out how much the customer is willing to pay. It was 2000 rupees. So the price is 2000 rupees. Now calculate backward. So how much profit do we need? Then how much will the cost be? You have to make product on that cost. They took the challenge. Now let's make it. And after trial and error, they finally made it. And that's the story behind the making of a Walkman. Have you heard about it, students? Right. So the Walkman was a small cassette that you can take around with yourselves anywhere and fit into a tape recorder. Okay, students. So the basic thought behind it was necessity is the mother of invention. Or it is someone's vision that we have to solve that problem. Call it a need or call it vision. You could say vision is the mother of all invention. They thought about it and dreamt of it. They fulfilled it. And when they fulfilled it, they didn't hide the way they work from the world. They did not keep it just to themselves. There are only a few people in the world who have shared their problem-solving techniques with the whole world and helped people. So when it was shared with the world, it also needed a name. It was named target costing. Okay. And then by using target costing, all sorts of products are being manufactured around the world all the time. You wouldn't even know. Parle-G is target costing. Can anyone make a biscuit for 5 rupees? 10 biscuits for 5 rupees. It is not easy to provide it at such cheap price. Price is decided first. How will it happen? Everything will be on back calculation. This is target costing. So students, these techniques are called modern technique, which is being used all over the world. Okay. So we are using the product without knowing its background or what is the story behind it. So we will give you the background thinking on this subject. It has all modern techniques that you do not study at intermediate level. In addition to this, students, now what happens is you have to make a decision. So students, now we are in this particular scenario. If it is beneficial or not, should we move forward? How to see if it is beneficial? How to calculate it? It is not necessary that all decisions are made in same way. There are 4 ways to make a decision. There can be different ways of making a decision also. Although goal of strategic planning is this, but still, there can be certain decisions which can still be taken in the traditional way within the framework of strategic cost management. Okay. So how does all that happen? Students, we have created another unit for your syllabus which is called decision making. So whatever was explained earlier, for example, target costing. Like I mentioned another name just in time, this is modern technique, a modern system which is running worldwide. In today's world, global companies have built their path by using that method and those techniques. But students, here what we are talking with you is about. What are we talking about, students? We are talking about decision making, okay? It can be with old way and also the new way. But in types of different scenarios, we need to think in different types of ways. Do you know, when we actually get the real money, and I mean like very real. When I was a student like you, you know. So I enrolled in a costing class. There was a teacher, but he doesn't teach there anymore now. Coincidentally, I could only attend 2 to 3 classes from that teacher because I was a teacher back then. I mean, I used to set the students' time first. And then I studied in the remaining time. So students are like, we will come on this time or on this time. So my class would get cancelled, and at that time we didn't have video backup. I could not attend the class, but I was able to attend 2 or 3. In those 2 or 3 classes, I received a very good message which has been very beneficial for me. How? He used to say that the CEO and CFOs that are in the big companies like Google and Microsoft, no matter what their degree is, they are paid salaries in crores. But why are they paid that? Why do they get salaries in crore? Are they operating machine? Are they doing paperwork or making some accounts? What did they do? The answer was just 2 words, which is also the theme of your today's chapter, which I haven't taught you yet, but I will. The answer was 2 words, decision making. Decision making. You understand? The people, those who reach there, students, those people are actually very experienced and also are punctual. They are very, very committed and knowledgeable towards their work, that they can listen to even the biggest issue and they can give a verdict easily. Then after that, people are able to work for many days, and then they start to see the benefits. They get money for that intelligence. So how did intelligence came? First is that you learn through experience. Go to battlefield. Is it necessary that all learn through chartered accountant or cost accounting degree? There are already many big decision makers in the world. Does everyone have this degree? Right? Like Sundar Pichai is the CEO of Alphabet and Satya Nadella is the CEO of Microsoft. Okay, like Mukesh Ambani is also the chairman of Reliance Industries. So does everyone have that degree? Do they? So how did they learn? They must have learned somehow. So how did they learn? Experience, trial and error, by causing damage. So some tried, and also some had family background, and some people learned gradually by doing trial and error. Some companies like Google and Microsoft, you know what they do? They have many intensive training programs. If you become a CEO, then you have to undergo training there. Means they learned through training. Mukesh Ambani learned by working with his own father. But you don't have any of them. So what should you do? You are learning from a degree students. But I'll tell you one more thing, that when you complete and get your degree, it's not like you can just join a company and say that I'll make all the decisions for everyone from now on, give me millions of rupees. Right now, they cannot bet on you, but you are being given a mindset so that you can understand what's going on in their minds. So tomorrow, whenever you get the chance, you can quickly climb up the ladder. This is the money for decision making. Okay, this is an interesting thing. We are sitting here and you look at me sometime. If we are doing something in the class, so my whole game is in these two words. There are people here for other things. But my work is to make decisions, to think what to do and how to do it. If someone gets stuck, then how to move forward in class. And it's not that easy, even after studying so much, it's not easy, but really tough. But ultimately, the people at higher level, hence the people like us, make a lot of money, and we make money by decision making, okay? You are also making decisions in your life. You made a decision to study from me. We make decisions in the morning, like what clothes to wear. Then when we leave, we think, should we take metro or bus? Now when you leave from here, you will think, should I eat here or should I eat at home? So we are taking decisions all the time, but anyone can take it for themselves. How is this decision making unique than others? Because you are thinking that I have to take such a decision that doesn't make loss or affect our stakeholders. And we don't get caught in the clutches of a computer. It's not that easy, like choosing your clothes, should I wear this or that? Have you ever heard or seen that Mark Zuckerberg wears the same t-shirt? Did you notice? Have you ever Googled the owner of Facebook? He is always wearing the same t-shirt. Did you notice? The question that arises, why is this so? The reason behind this is that he says that to run a company, you need to think a lot. A person can't think too much in a day. They can only think limited. So if I think about what to wear in morning, my thinking gets wasted. What happens when you make many decisions? You get decision fatigue, you get tired. We get tired that what decision should we make and what not. So to simplify that, I decided that I will only wear same clothes every day. At least I won't have to think about that. One less thing to think. So that we can put our thinking in the right place. Understood? So those people who work on these small things are able to make big decisions. Those are moving forward. So the more big a person is, he is also more and more simple in other matters of his life. You will never see Mukesh Ambani wearing a lot of brands and all. Simple, because what decision is there to make? He is making decisions about how we can rule over all of India. He is making decision about how he can expand his business more in worldwide market. So they all have a lot of value, right? Yes or no? So now students, that is why he is simply just living his life through decision making. So we are very lucky that we are getting this opportunity to learn all of this in our studies. Am I right? So now let's move on, students. I am starting today with a very interesting chapter. Turn of the SE. Now you write on a new page, that one, right there. Now write decision making. Okay, do you guys understand what I am saying? You might be thinking I will make you do some directly or maybe let you open study material. If you think like that, then there is no purpose or reason for me to stay here. You could have opened and done it yourself. What is the benefit of explaining your background thinking? So that you can catch up easily, you can catch up quickly. My goal is not to just provide you written information. My goal is that when you sit in my class, so you have to think about what will all this lead to? You will learn to think. And if you learn to think, then you will be able to do a lot. right? There's a saying. I give many of these golden statements. For example, one of them that I gave was, need is the mother of invention. You should write them all. Sometimes it can be useful for you too. You may have to impress someone by all these impressive things, golden statements. So write them down. There is one more statement. If you teach, no, it's if you give a man a fish. So if you give a man a fish, then write you feed him for a day, right? Okay. If someone is hungry, if you give him a fish, he'll be done for the day. Okay. Let's say, but if you teach a man how to fish, teach a man how to fish, you will feed him for lifetime. You feed him for lifetime. So you understand, if you are given food that was already made, that means today's work is done. But if you are taught how to cook food, then you can feed yourself. So in this case, I always feel that our parents have done very good with girls, but very wrong with boys. Right? Because we boys were never taught how to cook. Now we can't learn. Girls were taught from starting. So girls cannot stay much hungry. Whenever a girl gets hungry, she just goes and makes something favorite of hers and eats it. And poor boys, they become dependent, spend a lot of money and go to the market. They can't make it themselves. You can only make basic things, you don't know anything else. In my case, I don't even know the basic. That's the thing. I also feel and think in the same way when I teach all of you students, that if I am able to just teach you how to fish, and then you will remember me for lifetime. And you just don't only remember me for exam, but for lifetime. You learn how to fish and then you remember me lifetime. That is my goal. That we went to Sir's class and he taught us to think in such a way that we can do anything anywhere. So this is the most important thing. So when I teach decision making, I do it with this thought in mind. So students, I have made many divisions in this decision making for you. This is a big chapter. Don't take it lightly, okay? It is time consuming. And many sums are also there in current books available in the institute. So the first one we have to read. Relevant costing. You write like this, name of the units. There are many units in this, okay? Write these as units. It's number 2 in this. CVP analysis. Number 2 in this is CVP analysis. You will read number 3. Make or buy decision. Number 4, you will see the key factors. Number 5, you will read subcontracting. Number 6, you will read service costing. These are its small units. Okay. In addition to this is the part of basic decision making. There is one more thing. You can understand the part within this, like you understand this is unit A. You can think this is unit A. You can make a whole unit B inside this unit A. Decision making also continues in this. Okay, that is transfer pricing. This is only one in unit B, transfer pricing. Its theme is different, so that is why it's separated. This is whole unit A and this is unit B. So students, now our focus will be to discuss all of these things with all of you. Okay. So now give the heading. So some basics, just some basics. We are talking about basics that come under the decision making. Number 1, types of decisions. Types of decisions. So now many of the things that I am explaining you here, I am explaining those things in such a way that it will help your mind. I am not discussing thinking, it's an institute. If you go through this thought process, then you will instantly understand that this was given in institute as soon as you see it. So students, you won't find types of decisions, but thinking from this angle, it will help you catch up quickly in your studies. Make two parts in types of decisions. One is short term or right one time decisions. The second is long term. Long term decisions. Whatever the long term decision is. So to get that, two techniques are used, which are relevant costing along with capital budgeting. Did you study in FM capital budgeting? This is a long-term job. Take out two parts. One will be one time with a short duration. With a short duration impact, okay. Second will be routine short-term decision. Routine short-term decision. Now this is one-time decision with a short duration impact, and one is routine short-term decision, okay. What is the meaning of one time with a short duration impact? Means a type of decision that won't affect you for a very long time. It should be taken once. So what kind of decision would be that like? Suppose that, for example, I had a customer, he gave me an order to make this kind of machine for him. So basically I make different types of machines. Your order came and then I made the machine for you according to that. I also took advance, but not full money, but I almost made the machine. Then the news came that you ran away, disappeared, became insolvent, got stuck, and a letter came from the court stating that your company is going to close. Your company. Now what should I do in this case? Because the machine was almost complete. I took advance, work was not done, but machine is left now. What should we do? Understood? Now think about heading. What will it be? One time with a short duration impact. Does this happen all the time? No, it's a one-time situation. What's the impact? Short duration. Let's try this and see what happens. What should we do in such scenarios so that it doesn't impact me for a long time? Won't impact more than 1 month, next month, 6 months. Okay, and this doesn't happen every day. It's a one-time scenario. For example, customer of a totally customized machine, right? Yes, a customized machine. Okay, so a customized machine has now become insolvent. So how to deal with the machine? With that customized machine, the customer has become insolvent. What do we have to do with it? Just think, customer has become insolvent. What should I do about him? I am only worried about my machine. The category of decisions, is that clear? You won't find such analysis in institute material or math. We have studied institute math so many times. So after researching, we have simplified it like this. You will be given a question in the exam. If you see something like this in the question, then you should know how to handle it. Here's another example. Let's assume an export order has come at a very low price. At a very low price, meaning a price which is less than their normal price. So we got confused. Should it be accepted? Suppose we normally sell at ₹100 and export offer comes at 25. You will think, what is this? I sell for 100 and offer is at 25. Should I take it? The thing is, it is for one time, it will not come back. To get some experience, do you want to do it? How does export happen? You'll know. It happens often. What if he's someone we know? If you can't say no, you get stuck in such companies. So, how we should think in such scenarios? Okay, so the decision making for all these scenarios happens through relevant costing, which combines with, within it, it combines with marginal costing also. So marginal costing is included in it, meaning it thinks taking marginal costing as the base. But actual way of thinking is relevant costing. Okay. I am telling you the technique's name. Now routine is a short-term decision. So at that moment in time, for example, you are finding out what will be the optimum product mix for the coming quarter. Okay. So what is there to think? Tell me. Because due to material shortage, there will be a material shortage, then labor shortage in the next quarter. Any number of issues may arise, which is part and parcel of business. How to decide the optimum mix for the coming quarter due to material shortages? So such a decision is normally made through marginal costing, okay? Which you will eventually study as CVP analysis in intermediate. But how to use that CVP analysis? You will have to learn that. For this, another technique is used. You guys have studied OM in intermediate. You must have heard about operation management subject. So have you heard the name of linear programming? You have heard its name, right? It also does the same work. Linear programming. There are different techniques in linear programming such as assignment and transportation. These are all branches of linear programming. Okay, assignment and transportation are both branches of linear programming. So that problem was solved here. Understood? This is part of our course. The interesting thing is linear programming. It is not a chapter but a unit. Main chapter is decision making. There are many units inside it. This is our focus right now. Relevant costing and CVP analysis. These two are your tools. Understood? And these 4 points that I have made, the 4 points, there will be applications here. Okay? The application of this tool will be used for these type of decisions. Make or buy, the decision that I made. Let me explain to you. What is it about? Make or buy means I buy my own material. That you should make your own material here. Okay. So if this decision has a long-term impact, then it will be by relevant costing plus capital budgeting. If you are thinking for short-term, then one time with a short-term impact will happen through relevant costing. Subcontracting and make or buy are the same. In subcontracting, we are talking about finished goods. Here we are talking about raw material. Should we sometime buy finished goods from the market and sell them instead of making it yourself? So subcontracting came in there. Same thing, if there's a long-term impact, it will get into capital budgeting. You'll have to calculate NPV, otherwise it will be from relevant costing. The decision of key factor is an optimum mix routine decision for which we will use marginal costing, CVP or technique of linear programming. In service costing, we will see problem related to the above things. You should know service costing works slightly different. There is no quantity of their production. The lack tangible output like manufacturer, if any issues arise regarding these matters, how will they be resolved? What will be the CVP there? How will the break-even be calculated? So if they have to make any decision there, then how the calculation is to be done? They learn it in our service costing. Did you get it, students? So I have given you this basic outline on types of decision. So you have to learn all these techniques with me now. The second point is, after types of decisions, the second point is the meaning of cost in decision making. When we do decision making, then what is its meaning of cost? Any idea? Normal meaning, traditional meaning of cost is the amount of resources used in production of product or rendering of service, right? What is the traditional meaning of cost and its meaning in decision making? What is the meaning in traditional meaning and decision making? So the meaning of traditional in cost, we will write this as number 1. What do you have to say? The amount of resources which you've memorized since childhood. used in production of goods or rendering of services. The amount of resources used in production of goods or rendering of services. Clear, students? What's the meaning of decision making? Yes, what is meaning of decision making? The meaning of this is you will understand the cost as cash outflow. Understood? Consider the cash outflow as cost. Alright. Now there is one real cash outflow which is incurred by using it. And then there is another thing, the cash inflow that was supposed to come, but it did not come. Okay. So we call this notional. Notional means opportunity cost. What is the meaning of notional? Opportunity cost. What is opportunity cost? Opportunity cost means the income that could have come didn't come. Both real and notional came. In decision making, you will think only from the angle of cash outflow. If money is spent, then what is that cost? Money was supposed to come to us, but it didn't. That's also a cost. You can write it in Hindi if you want for your clarification. So, writing on the side in Hindi is allowed. You can write that whatever is going out of your pocket is the outflow. And whatever was supposed to come, but not coming or it has been cancelled. That's the opportunity cost. Although we will discuss this further, but if you want to write something extra from your side, then you are most welcome. Third point. Process of decision making. Process of decision making. What is the process of decision making? Now there is a framework of decision making. So let's understand the framework a little. The first thing that happens in it is that you have to set your goals and objectives. What do you want as an outcome? What do you want the outcome to be, or how do you want the end result? Okay. Now, how many alternatives are available to achieve that outcome? Any idea? Gather the alternatives. What does alternatives mean? Different ways. How far is our destination? Where we want to go? Then after that, all these alternatives will be evaluated. What does evaluation mean? So, okay, evaluation means that you will check cost benefit analysis. Okay. Cost benefit analysis. What does evaluation of alternatives mean? You will do cost benefit analysis. Okay. You will check the cost and benefit, and along with that, you can say you will think both financially and non-financially, which I am explaining to you strategically. Although you will not be able to get that much sums on non-financial basis. Just bring it to your thought process. Whether sums come in the exam or not, what will be the fourth? Selection of alternative. Which was the best concept? Selection of the best alternative. Then its implementation. Then it's continuous evaluation, continuous monitoring of the results that are coming from it. So, why isn't it coming? Why is it coming? It's not necessary that what we think will happen. So, continuous monitoring is very important. Continuous monitoring. Did you understand? Implementation and continuous monitoring are part of decision-making process. This is also called a framework. So after today, whenever you are supposed to make some decision, what should you do? Should I make a song? There's a song.
क्या करे या ना करे ये कैसी मुश्किल है.
Have you heard it?
कोई तो बता दे इसका हल ओ मेरे भाई.
This is one of the biggest problems ever, and it comes up in life all the time. So what do you think is the easiest way? The easiest way is, the one who does not know how to study, they should ask someone. First step is to figure out whom to ask. But there is no one around who can tell whether what we are doing has value or not. This happens a lot. One might think they are on the wrong track because they can't find anyone who thinks like them and is facing the similar problems like them. It might happen that the person you are asking for advice is telling you opposite of what you think. It makes you doubt whether you are on right path. We get stuck in life, don't we? We get stuck and think whether we should attempt or not. Whether to take tuition from here or not. Should I study by myself? When you reach out to ask someone for advice, they ask in return, what is this you are doing? What is the CMA and which college is offering this course? Which university offers this? Never heard about this, and what is its value? The person you went for advice confused you even more. Now, who can you ask? So our problem is we always ask around. A lot. You know that a large company named Ford closed down its business in India. Have you heard of this news? Yes, you must have heard. If you read newspaper. Start reading the newspapers from today onwards and it will benefit you in every subject. Also make sure that you take a subscription of that newspaper. It's fine if you didn't read the whole thing. Keep it aside. You should at least see 4 to 5 headlines. There's a newspaper called Business Standard. Subscribe to the Business Standard. It's a must read for all. Okay everyone. Those 100 or 200 rupees you will spend every month will be a big investment. It means it will have thousands of times of return. Just read headline, and if you are interested, you can read the rest inside. There are many useful things in it worth knowing. There is a chance that they might end up being asked in your SFM's paper. You might come across some news of FR or some amendment regarding tax. When you are well informed, then you will have an idea about the amendment, and you will end up finding ongoing office discussions relatable. Your business outlook will change significantly. Is that okay? So, whenever such a scenario comes up in real life, let's suppose the head of Ford India needs to make a decision. Or the global head has to make a decision whether to withdraw Ford from India. So what will he do? Should he make decisions like you? Whom should he ask for advice? Imagine that a friend of his is the owner of the Apple company. Now, Ford's head goes to seek advice of that friend. And let us assume the owner of the Apple replies to him that your company is building cars, my friend. These days, car users are few. Everyone is using mobile phones. Present market is for them. The Ford's head will regret asking for the Apple owner's advice. You all do this. Decision making should not be based on the advice given by others. Tell me, is it written somewhere? Ask for advice from the people around you. You do that and get stuck. And then you are unable to do anything at all. Crux of the matter is, follow this framework. Whatever decisions you have to make or whatever are your goals, write it first. What are the available paths? To find them, you have to ask people around you. Ask these questions to them instead of letting them ask you why you are doing something. You should ask questions like whether they have any idea of what can be done. If they don't know, keep quiet. If yes, speak. You can also research about the available opportunities in that field on the internet. Ask for advice from your teacher, mentor, or seniors. They are the right people to provide guidance to you. Besides them, ask from someone in the industry. Before asking others, you should ask within the industry. Okay? If you do your own research, then you will find option 1, option 2, option 3 and many more available. Then there will be an analysis of each. We will select the best option out of them all. However, it's not necessarily true that what we think will be correct. Decisions should be made thoughtfully, as there's always a chance of making a mistake. So it is crucial to do continuous monitoring. The study that we are doing at the present moment is all about the third one and the fourth one as shown on the screen. Do you know what requires the most effort in the real world? Fifth and sixth one. Thinking is easy. It's very difficult to act. There is no hard work in giving advice. It takes time in thinking and planning, but it takes much more time to act on it. You must have heard of 20-80 rule at some point in your life. If 20% of time is spent thinking, then 80% is spent in executing. You can't execute without thinking. It's a separate matter. Real challenge is implementation and monitoring. But currently, we are teaching all of you about evaluation and selection in this class. Clear? So, this evaluation and selection highly depend on the kind of decision you are making. It's important to remember this crucial point. Then, based on the kind of decision, you need to choose a technique and evaluate it. Today, I gave you the framework for all the subjects. Overall, I have explained the strategy of the CMA to all of you. Third, I have taught about the structure of decision-making process. Along with that, I also explained its usefulness to you. In my opinion, this much information is enough to start studying the subject. Next, we will discuss about the technique called relevant costing. It's very interesting. Now, what is it about? This technique tells you how to think, but only in scenario that's applicable for it. Relevant costing may not be applicable everywhere. And wherever it's applicable, it tells how to think from the given perspective. It's a very interesting chapter, and you will have a lot of fun studying it. Alright? You will have to bring about some changes within yourself. Those changes are: I taught you how to create an index. Today, complete the index at home. Also include page numbers. The change is that you should not copy paste the same old methods that you used as a student. Understand this one simple rule of life. The rules that helped you succeed in the past do not necessarily guarantee success in the future. Foundations rule doesn't apply to Inter and vice versa. If you are a champion in Ludo, does that mean you can play chess as well? If you haven't lost in Ludo, does it ensure that you will win in chess too? No, right? The rules are different. Take it like that. So, the instruction that is being given to you is for this new battleground. You need to create an index that will automatically bring about changes. The index should be detailed. Now, in index, the very first thing you need to do is you will write down what I taught you about CMA on page number 1. Under this, I mentioned what the value of CMA is and what are the subjects that are included in the course for CMA Final. I discussed how to pass the CMA Final in one attempt. In this, I explained about the CMA. This topic will go in the index. The second item of index will be about the subject which includes strategic cost management. You need to expand the index for this. I had mentioned this. Create index. In beginning, I asked to leave 10 pages blank. Have you done that? Create an index. On blank page, write this. Serial number, topic name and page number. Why work with such detail? Because you have to start from beginning. The whole game's rules have changed. But we are not that much naive. Why are you thinking of yourself like that, my students? I am talking about the technique. We need to make changes to it. And it isn't just for SCM, it's for all subjects. So the very first thing you have to write in the index is about CMA Final. The second thing you need to write about is SCM subject. Or you can also write it as SCM thinking. You can write about SCM thinking. What's SCM's perspective? The third one is decision making. Now, inside the third one, you will write point number 1 as basics. Write down the basics of decision making. Mention the first basic which I taught today. Number 2 will be written next day, in which relevant costing will come. Now, under this relevant costing, there will be many topics in it. Did you understand what I explained? And the index that you will create in the future. They will also be like the one you wrote about CMA today. This is all for one page. Then you will add the SCM thinking, meaning what the SCM perspectives are. We will mention all those under this. The thing that will come under the third number is the main chapter, which is decision making. First, I explained the basics of decision making. Second will come on next day, relevant costing. Now, inside this relevant costing, there will be many subtopics. There will be a separate heading for each topic 1, 2, 3. Further, when there are questions, a heading will be made for that question, like question 1, question 2, question 3. Is it clear? So, question 1 and 2 and 3. This is how the index is made. You will not get the benefit of this right now. You will get its benefit on the last day of the exam. You will understand when you do this. It's not just for SCM, you should do this for every subject. If you have moved forward with the subject, then one way is to create a loose page index and then stick it in the front of your notebook. Now the biggest challenge here is to be consistent. You have done it for first day. I will remind you to do it for initial few days. After that, it will be your responsibility. If there's no consistency, it will be a mess. When you adopt these small practices for day-to-day basis, it will eventually reduce your revision workload. Then, while we do revisions later on, we will mark the questions to indicate which ones need to be revisited and which ones can be skipped. So you will only look at the page and the question that you marked. This will help you revise perfectly on the last day before exam. By keeping these things in mind, you need to create an index. To do this, leave the first 10 pages blank for each subject you have. Secondly, what task did you get today? You have to make a plan for this. What will that plan be? We have to show and come up with a plan which will ensure that. Whether you want to take paper of group 1 or paper of group 2, it's fine. Whatever group's exam you are taking, but when does the tuition for that paper has to end? If you need to take one group, then 3 months in advance. If 2 groups, then 6 months in advance. Calculate backwards from that date and show it. Write it down on a separate page, don't copy it on this one. Write hours per day you should study. Let's assume you will take coaching for each subject in the course. Along with this, you should do some research on some websites to find out how long the classes are for each subject. In this way, you will realize from the very first day that you have to study for a certain duration each day. You have to follow this or else you will fail the term. One term ruined means a loss of 6 months. And losing those 6 months means a loss of 4 lakhs. and 6 months salary loss. Now, also think about it this way. This will mean you will start earning 6 months late. Your 6 months worth of earnings are gone. Why only dwell on this loss? Think about last 6 months before retirement where you could have earned in crores. That too will be lost. Because you will retire before you even get that salary. So why incur such a big loss for yourself? Therefore, plan well. It's also possible that taking exam a term later is no problem. However, if you fail, you will get demotivated, and that's a big problem. We don't have to fail to pass, we have to pass in one go. Even though you are taking the exam one term later, that is still acceptable. It's totally fine. Even if it doesn't seem like a problem, work hard from now. Make a plan which will work. For 6 hours of studies, do it in morning and evening, do little bit every day. But if you learn this thing a little later, you won't be able to do it. Because things will get piled up. Later studying for 12 hours straight will be impossible. Since you will also have the office work to do, so you need to figure that out properly. This is your task for today. If you ever face any doubts regarding this, I will help you. Feel free to reach out without hesitation. And the way I am explaining to you each and everything is hard to find anywhere else. They will straight away start with subject without telling these things. They will leave rest for you. But our objective is for you to earn your CMA degree. That's why we are dedicating our time and telling about these things to help you. Today, you are not being given any subject-related assignments. Today's main assignment is to maintain your notes in this way. The second thing is you have to submit an assignment where you come up with a plan. Bring your plan and then I will ask you a question. First question will be how many hours a day will you study so that your exam term is not deferred? Or question will be based on how many hours you can study per day, what will be your exam term? There could be both scenarios. One is that someone spends a certain number of hours per day in office. So what will be term? Or fixed exam? Term, and then submit to me a plan for how many hours per day one should study according to it. It's a simple calculation, and this is not something you will be able to do by asking someone. Do it by using your intelligence and note on a page, then show me. Alright? We will stop here for today. We will meet again in next lecture. Don't take any pressure and don't panic. As I said earlier, this is a new relationship and we are getting to know each other bit by bit and settling in. You are still getting to know me and my way of teaching. Please give it some time. Within a chapter or two, you will perfectly understand our technique as well. By the end of a chapter, you will start seeing results for yourself. Your way of speaking will change drastically. When you explain this subject to juniors, you will find a change in your approach and thinking. And the way you study your other subjects will change as well. And this is exactly what I want for all of you. Okay, thank you so much. See you again.